This is very nice. Madam, I'm going to continue with the questioning now, if I may. You want to go ahead and restart? But anyway, good to have you. Thank you for your service. And first of all, I want to talk about the Bureau of Fiscal Service and Management as far as the office in Parkersburg, West Virginia. Okay? The employees are not coming back to work. Now, I know that Senator Romney and I have introduced a piece of legislation that would say that at least 60% of the time they have to be in their office at work, okay? And I think that basically a relatively small increase above the 50% mark mandated by the Office of Management and Budget. OMB has said 50% of the time. I don't know if you know this or not, but that office in Parkersburg, West Virginia, people only have to be there 2 days of pay period. 2 days of pay period. What they end up doing, they come at the end of the first pay period, stay 2 days. The beginning of the second pay period, stay 2 days. There are 4 days out of a total of 2 pay period. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, and it's destroying the economy and the people that should be coming to work. They're living anywhere and they fly in, and this has got to stop, and you have to stop it, Madam Secretary, because it's not going to happen unless you clamp down tight. The rules say, OMB, at least 50%. We'll accept 50%. At least I get them there 10 days out of 20, okay?
I appreciate the problem that this is causing, and I know that you've written a letter to Treasury about this.
We have specifics now we can help you all with. And now my next round is going to be, I want to be as respectful as I can because I totally disagree with what you are doing, implementing the EV credits. The EV credits, electric vehicle credits. I know that because we wrote the bill. My committee wrote the bill completely.
I know.
And we wrote the intent of the bill. We have all the findings of what we did and how we did it. But let me just show this right here, Madam Secretary. The bill was very much written so that we would bring America back, bring manufacturing back to America, that we would not be relying on unreliable supply chains, especially the countries of 4 concerns, China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. And as we know, China has dominated the critical minerals industry. But here's what you all have done. Your permanent rules, these are your permanent rules, came from y'all. This is how we wrote the bill. It's in the bill, specific. First year, 2023, 40%. You all cut it in half to 20.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Okay, this is here.
See that.
This is 40%.
What is 40? What is 40?
Let's get it up there closer. You can see how it does, okay? First year, second year, third year. You've cut everything in half. Everything in half. It makes no sense because you're going to get sued on all of this from people who have been damaged. The manufacturers that are investing money that thought that they would not be inundated with lower prices, unfair competition, especially from China, you've given them the ability to come after them now. Okay, you can see this all the way through.
So why do you think we've cut this in half? You're talking about the requirements.
The requirements of what should be from
batteries, battery components,
processing,
and for
critical mineral sourcing and processing. You've even tried to change the definition of processing to where some of the manufacturing can be done and considered in processing. You've done that. We have all of that. The only thing I'm trying to be very respectful. You are going to be sued, and we're going to do a writ of mandamus, amicus brief, to help the people that are suing, because this is how we wrote the bill. We wanted it to be America. We wanted it to be with free trade agreement countries. We wanted it not to be reliant on China. This absolutely allows China in the market and staying in the market for the entire extent of the IRA.
I'm sorry, we put out the FIAC restrictions that pertain to China, and those restrictions mean that this year, you can't have battery components that are made in China, and next year, a vehicle.
Why did you cut it in half then? Why did you cut it in half?
Cut what?
You cut basically the requirement of how much had to come from where. This had to come from America free trade agreements. This can come from non-free, anywhere else in the world. This is what's happening. I can go into it in detail, but this is, I have been raising absolutely holy Cain from day one. Now, we wrote the IRA as a very balanced bill to have energy. As far as basically, if we're going to basically change our entire transportation mode, it's the first time in the history of the United States of America we cannot basically provide all the components for a transportation mode. We're willing to be reliant on, especially of China, which had a total lock on the EVs.
We share the objective that you have, which is to rid ourselves of dependence
Who
on
on
China.
your staff changed this in half,
And
ma'am? I would say.
I'm not sure, I think we need to have a technical discussion
We've
of
been
this.
calling you about,
Because,
anybody here, any of you all working
because-
on this?
because I believe that the rules we wrote are in accord with what's in the statute
And again,
about what's
I'm
required.
trying to be as respectful as I can. They absolutely are not. And I am encouraging every manufacturer to sue you.
Well,
And I will
the-
do the amicus brief on behalf, and we'll show you exactly how we wrote the bill, the intent of the bill, and you'll lose every suit. I know that. So in order to avoid all of that, why can't we just basically implement the bill the way it was written? And I've said this, you all, and basically the administration, and these are people I've known forever, you're trying to implement a bill you never passed. This is not the BBB. This is the IRA.
Well, we share the objective that
Well, let's
you
go one step-
had in writing the bill.
I know.
And I believe we have implemented it in accordance
Let's go
with
one step
what's
further,
in
if
the
I may.
law.
Senator Coons, based on the hydrogen hub, okay? Now, let me explain. The hydrogen hub, we wrote that in the bipartisan infrastructure bill, and then we came back and funded it in the IRA. This is how we wrote. This is how we wrote the bill. This is how we wrote. We're happy to share all this with you. I think, hopefully, some of your staff knows this. Where did additionality come in? Where did time matching come in? Where did regionality come in? Who made that up?
Well,
We never had one iota of a word in that written. We wrote the bill. And then all of a sudden, these are the conditions to get the credits. Now, with that, where's the other? Let me show you this one. This is from the 7 hubs. Every one of the hubs have written to you all. Now, can you have the California hub and the West Virginia hub that agree? Something's wrong. We must be on the right track. But you all, every hub to agree said it's no longer commercially viable if you do what you're doing, implementation of the hydrogen rules. This is what we're dealing with. It's killing us. We shouldn't be fighting within ourselves. Just write the rules the way the bill was intended to write. We wrote it.
well, the hydrogen rule has to abide by the Clean Air Act definition of life cycle
Well,
emissions.
the whole thing is basically what...
And that
what-
means taking account of indirect emissions, which is where the complications come
complication
into
is this
play.
administration doesn't want anything that comes out of the ground. I'm fighting them tooth and nail. We're producing more energy than ever in the history of the United States of America. If it wasn't for that, your inflation would be sky high, the prices of gas would be at $5. And what we're doing, because we're using blue hydrogen, is where they're going nuts on. That's it. But you're going to have it in this mix, or we will not be energy independent.
We recognize that there's an issue with respect to the hydrogen hubs, and we've asked explicitly in the guidance we put out how people suggest addressing it. And we're reviewing the comments,
I'm
and
out of time, but I would love to sit down. We're trying to give you the benefit of the doubt in so many things, trying to work with you, but it just seems that's impossible because they're hell-bent on implementing things that were never intended in the bill and were not written in the IRA or any of the bipartisan infrastructure bill. And we're going to continue to fight to make sure that you confirm,
well, I would like to have
we'd be happy to do that. ma'am.
understand why you think we've halved.
Well, we can definitely show you word by word. And I hope that whoever's in this audience with you right now, or whoever wrote some of these things, I would like to have them in the room too.
Yes, I agree.